Is this thing on? Hello? Hello? Hey. How y'all doing today? Nah, I feel you on that one. I really do. Happy Monday, though. It's Monday, May 5th. Let's just jump right into it. Hey, guys. If you're new here, my name is Lowlife Lauren. Also, thank you for 100 subscribers. I have an NGL link in my bio on my page, so you can ask me questions anonymously, or you could drop them in the comments, or you could DM me on my other socials. Any questions you might want to ask to get to know me. This is my thank you for the support for getting me to 100 subscribers. The next goal is 250. Let's see how quickly we could get there. And in today's video, we are doing another Am I the Asshole reading. Yeah. Wait, hold on. I have something for this. If you saw the last one, you know exactly what it is. Am I the Asshole readings? That last one I did has 1,528 views. Thank you guys so much. Let's just jump right the fuck into it. Am I the asshole for stopping my boyfriend's proposal at our best friend's wedding? I would say no, but let me just read it. Also, I have the ring light is distracting me in the glasses, but I have them for a reason, so I'm gonna be using them to read these things, okay? I, female 26, and my boyfriend, male 25, attended a mutual friend's wedding. They're very close friends to us and brought my boyfriend and I together. Okay, my boyfriend and I are coming up on our 3-year anniversary, and things were getting pretty serious. Enough so that I very much wanted to marry him. He's sweet, chatty, typically considerate and empathetic. He's the person who I thought was the first to show me what a truly healthy and compassionate relationship was like. He's very serious about us too. We've had long talks about marriage, and it seemed we were in agreement with no formal declaration. We had even gotten as far as looking at rings, so the chance of a proposal was more of a when, not if. Okay. A few weeks before the wedding, us and the engaged couple at the time were hanging out. The topic of weddings was very prevalent, and my boyfriend had cracked a joke about proposing at our friend's wedding. The to-be groom joked back and said, "That'd be funny as hell." This was followed by me and the to-be bride both shutting it down, trying to be serious, but also not thinking he was serious. He was. During the reception, everyone had made their speeches and people were getting their food. While our table was waiting, my boyfriend went up to the DJ. And after they played my boyfriend and I's favorite song to scream sing in the car together, Story of My Life by One Direction. Story of my life. I look at him smiling, and he's looking around. All of a sudden, he grabs a fork, stands up, and begins clanging on glass. Immediately, the whole dining room looks over. I stand up and whisper the words, "Not right now." His face drops and he yells a mix of, "I'm sorry, I was just joking." After he sat back down, I verbatim said, "Let them have their moment. Let's make this our own." He wouldn't even look at me. When it was time to get our food, he immediately goes towards the exit. I follow and tried to catch up to him, but couldn't find him. I texted him twice and called him a couple times, but got no answer. So I went back to the reception. After not hearing from him for about an hour and a half or so, he returns, sits down, and doesn't even look at me. The rest of the night was terrible. He looked like his dog just died, and I'm trying to make the best out of the night, but felt like I was just in his shadow. I was prepping for a breakdown or maybe a fight in the car, but the only thing he said was, "I don't want to talk about it right now." And the drive was just quiet and awkward. He sent me a long text about how hard it was to get the ring, how he felt rejected by his closest person, and that I embarrassed him. I tried to explain that it's not that I didn't want to marry him. It was our best friend's wedding and they deserve their moment, that we should create our own and not piggyback off theirs. He got offended and said that if I wanted to marry him, I wouldn't have stopped his proposal in front of everybody. This situation perplexes me. I've never seen the appeal of proposing at someone else's wedding, and tried to handle the situation in a way that I felt was calm and chill. But he's very adamant that I ruined the proposal, made him look like an asshole, and thus I'm the asshole. Am I missing something? Should I admit I was wrong and just have let his proposal go at our friend's? No. You're not wrong. I'm one of those people where I strongly value special moments. Whether it be a birthday, an anniversary, a freaking graduation, a baby shower. If it's your day, it's your day. I do not want it in any way to become about me. I've had that happen to me. I don't like it. It's done it to other people and I feel fucked up about it now. And it's just like, it's very inconsiderate. And I just feel like it's not a wrong way to feel for you to not want your attention brought to you on someone else's day, especially when it comes to weddings. Like, I feel like proposing at a wedding is tacky as fuck. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just do. There's no scenario in which I would be comfortable with that. If somebody was to try to be proposing to me and it's one of our friends' weddings or something, or no, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mom took my seat? Okay. Oh, she took your seat as a joke. Oh. I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend Matt. Ooh, we name dropping? 27 male for almost 2 years. His family is very close, and his mom in particular has always been a little possessive. I've tried not to make a big deal out of it, but it's clear she doesn't like that I take up his time. And she's made passive aggressive comments like, I hope I don't lose my son to some girl, even though we've been together for a while and I've made every effort to be kind and respectful to her. Anyway, last weekend was Matt's birthday. He invited me to dinner with his family at a nice restaurant. I dressed up, I got him a gift I knew he'd love, and he was honestly looking forward to the night. Oh, I was honestly looking forward to the night. When we arrived, I noticed his mom had saved the seat right next to him for herself. That's fine, whatever. I sat on his other side. But right before we ordered, his mom made a joke about how I always need to be next to Matt and said, let's see how you handle a little separation. Then she literally stood up, looked at me and said, scooch, sweetie, motioning for me to move down a seat so she could sit between us. Everyone at the table laughed, Matt included. I was so stunned, I just quietly got up and moved. For about 5 minutes, I sat there feeling small and humiliated while she leaned over Matt like he was her date. So I stood up, grabbed my bag, and said, actually, I think I'm going to head out. Hope you have a great birthday, Matt. And I left. Matt blew up my phone later saying I completely overreacted, embarrassed him in front of his family, and can't take a joke. His mom texted me a sorry you were so sensitive message, which made it worse. Now he's not speaking to me until I apologize. I honestly feel like they were the rude ones, but it was his birthday dinner, so now I'm second guessing everything. Am I the asshole? Yes and no. Because it's like, you gotta grow the tough skin, and at some point there are gonna have to be boundaries set. And that's the thing, you will have to communicate that, like, if you're not gonna set the boundaries, then yeah, I can't do this. But then it's like, yo, ma, you're weird. Like, you're weird. You're weird. I don't like that. So I get where you're coming from, but also, like I just said with the last one, it's like on somebody's special day, to make a scene, not necessarily make a scene like that, but to leave knowing it's just like yikes. But it's understandable, because I honestly do not like them type of incestuous. This was a theme in the last Am I the Asshole video, like, and it's always with boys, with the boy moms. No shade to the boy moms. Only shade to the boy moms that's like this, that have to be like on a son, like, like that. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me so uncomfortable. It makes me so uncomfortable. It makes me so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Am I the asshole for making my daughter leave my husband? Wait. I'm sorry. Am I the asshole for making my daughter leave because my husband is attracted to her? Immediately, yes. Immediately, yes. I, 55 female, have been married to my husband and my daughter's stepdad, 63 male, for 4 years. My 23-year-old daughter and I have a complicated relationship. She has been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. She has a lot of trauma from watching me and my husband's horrible marriage go down, and was bullied in school. When she told me she was being bullied by peers, my view that all children are innocent really tied my hands, because I told her that if I said anything to them, I would be an adult harassing a child. She has blamed me for that ever since, and keeps referring to this one time where the kids at school called her trash due to the fact that she wasn't taking care of her hygiene because of depression. Part, not all, of my response was telling her to take a shower, and I bought her new clothes. The bullying finally ended with an expulsion and a suspension for the ringleaders, okay? She still throws the fact that a school clinic volunteer told her that if she was their kid, she'd have permission to punch back if administrators didn't do anything. I thought that having her live with me while she finishes school and gets a job would help heal some childhood wounds if my second husband and I modeled a healthy relationship. However, my daughter now doesn't get along with my husband. She is a very introverted, creative person who likes immersing herself in escapism. So she'd get annoyed if she was sitting eating alone and my husband would sit across from her and eat, saying she ate later so she could eat alone. However, my husband started acting distant from me and my daughter complained that his eyes lingered for too long. She got very angry and there was a lot of shouting and slamming of doors. Finally, my husband admitted that he's attracted to her and it's hard to be around her all day. Said she was walking temptation and said that's why he was avoiding sex with me. I was so upset to hear this. I don't blame my daughter for this, but at the same time, the situation has become unbearable. Something would have to give, and I couldn't collect my thoughts with both of them still being in the house, so I gave my daughter money to stay at an extended stay hotel and asked her to utilize her college's emergency, financial, and housing resources they have for students in need. She responded by storming out and telling my ex, who is now circling social media, using it to paint me as the villain of all villains. I'm not abandoning my daughter. She qualifies for those resources anyway since my ex is unemployed and we are in substantial debt. I just need time to process the situation and don't want to leave my house to stay with my daughter when I have a marriage to figure out whether or not to save. Now, you're the asshole. You're the asshole. You not kicking out that man and letting him stay in the house, all that does is coddle him. You're coddling a 63-year-old man who cannot handle his sexual urges against your daughter. There is no coming back from that, especially because you can't help how you look. So having a man, a grown man that's supposed to be a father figure to you, look at you in that type of way and you feel even if it's not in that type of way, if he's looking at you and you feel uncomfortable and you tell your mom that and your mom chooses, you're the asshole. I don't even want to. I wish you wasn't anonymous, hoe. I wish you wasn't anonymous, hoe. I wish you wasn't anonymous, hoe. Oh, am I the asshole for not being intimate with my husband after he said he misses my pre-pregnancy body? No, sweetheart, you are not. Immediately, no. I don't even want to read this because I don't care what he has to say. I gave birth around 2 months ago. I'm up a bit more than 10 pounds from my pre-pregnancy weight. I'm in constant pain, barely getting sleep, still recovering. I've been easing back into the gym this past week. My husband and I were showering after having sex, and while feeling me, he said he misses my body, and he said I used to look so good in sexy clothes and lingerie before. I went quiet, finished my shower, and went back to check on the baby. I brought it up later that he hurt my feelings and I'm self-conscious and trying. He just shrugged and said it's true. I cried in my car after my workout. He doesn't even work out and he eats garbage. I've been feeling really down about my body since his comment and I've pulled back from intimacy for a few days. He says I'm weaponizing sex, but I'm just struggling with how I feel about myself right now. To insult me and then be mad that I don't want to still give you something that you just kind of, in a way, complained about? You're not the asshole, sweetheart. I don't even want to spend more time on that one. That one just, oh my gosh. Men are, not all men, okay? Not all men. But men be trifling. Not all men, but men be trifling, yo. Am I the asshole if my boyfriend made a meal and asked me how it was and I said fine? Oh, somebody said she is that. They are the asshole, my bad. So my boyfriend made chicken breast with some white rice, a salad with garlic, and we had some pickles and beetroot on the side from jars. And we sit down and he says, how is it? And I said, fine. There's nothing special. Everything tastes as it should. And he got upset and said he added extra garlic in the lettuce and soy sauce on the breast. We both said we couldn't taste that. And I said, I'm not used to making comments about food like he is in his family. When we eat with his mother, everyone has to say something along the lines of, how delicious, this is so tasty, yum, at every meal. And in my family, we probably find that behavior a bit fake. We just sit down and talk about other things. And if there was something new in the food, then that would be a normal question to ask how it was. So he got really upset because I should have just said it's great or it's good instead of a normal and not very enthusiastic, it's fine, everything tastes as it should. And he proceeded to pick his plate up and left to eat in the office. I don't feel like partaking in a family tradition I don't feel is natural. I feel like I am forced to say something I don't care about it. or don't believe in. It's chicken breast and white rice. I mean, am I the asshole for not making a bigger deal out of a simple meal? Is he overreacting, or should I just be fake and oblige and say it's really tasty every single fucking meal? I don't think you're the asshole, but you could have just said, oh, it's good. I mean, maybe that still wouldn't be acceptable though. I don't know. No, you're not the asshole, but he is a bit sensitive, I would say. Am I the asshole for calling my sister a sinful disgrace in front of our entire family and revealing her secret? I, 20 female, recently found out that I'm pregnant. And you want to be talking about people? My boyfriend, 27 male, and I have been together for 2 years. So you was 18 and he was 25. His brain was fully developed and you just became able to vote when y'all started dating. Okay. The pregnancy wasn't planned at all. But we were also not taking steps to prevent it. With that said, we are happy and ready to start this next chapter together. We announced my pregnancy to my family at a small dinner last weekend. This is where my sister, 29 female, comes in, who is extremely religious. She's the kind of person who's at church every Sunday, pretty much only reads the Bible and makes TikToks about passages, about living a pure life and following God, and sometimes will force it into conversation. When I shared the news, most of my family was supportive and really happy for my boyfriend and I. Everyone except her. She immediately went cold and launched into this huge preachy lecture about how disappointed she was in me. She went on about how she expected better of men, how, I guess she meant to say me and how I was living in sin and how God will judge. Pretty much, she was making me feel horrible for not being married while being pregnant. I tried to keep my cool, but she wouldn't stop. She kept ranting on and on. She clearly could tell it was bothering me. Eventually, I had enough and I snapped. I figured this was a perfect time to get payback for her shaming me. I went on about how it was hypocritical for her to call me sinful when she was the one who was a fake sinful disgrace. She too had a baby out of wedlock. Oh. And unlike me, instead of keeping it, she aborted it to make sure nobody else knew. Oh. The whole room went completely silent. My sister got upset and excused herself from the table and left the house. My mom immediately started yelling at me for bringing up the past and ruining what should have been a happy evening. I honestly don't feel bad though. My sister has been putting on this holier than thou act for years, preaching morality while hiding something she's too ashamed to admit. I never planned to out her secret, but she pushed me with her hypocrisy and I lost it. Am I the asshole? Honestly, as somebody who has dealt with is dealing with a religious conservative family that, you know, has those types of views and everything, I could see why it definitely got to you. However, that doesn't make it right to do what you did. However, I see why you did it. It's your feelings are valid. Your actions are maybe not so much validated, but understandable. You're only the asshole. No, you're actually no, because she started it. And honestly, I've reached a point where I'm tired of taking the higher ground, because sometimes when you take the higher ground, you still end up shitted on in the end, and nobody wants to get shitted on. Well, some people do, but I'm a kink shamer. That I ain't trying to get shitted on. Yeah, she was the asshole for judging you in what could have been done in a private moment. She could have talked to you on the side, individually, privately, and said, you know, sis, I do think that this is sinful, this is shameful. You probably still could have ended up saying what you said. And that's why her doing it in a public setting made it bad for both of y'all. But, I mean, you gotta protect your peace. I don't know, man. That you shouldn't have came at me knowing what you got going on. A lot of Christians don't like abortion. So not only did you get pregnant out of wedlock, but you also killed the baby. Well, the fetus, but the baby. Like, girl, why are you judging me? Judge not lest ye be judged, Miss Jesus. Am I the asshole for leaving a family gathering and taking the cake with me after getting my feelings hurt. I, 27 female, hit 1 year sober from alcohol at the beginning of the year. Congratulations. This was a huge accomplishment for me, as of course, it was bigger to me than finishing college. Understandable. I told my family that next time we were together for family dinner, I had something to celebrate. This all happened at my mom's. The kids were playing and the adults were hanging out. I took the moment to share that I'd reached 1 year sober and how good I felt about it. They went, "Oh, that's what you were talking about. And has it been a year already?" I am embarrassed to admit I hoped someone would say they're proud of me. That is not embarrassing. Of course you're going to want somebody to say that. I'm proud of you. I don't know if you'll ever even see this. But like, that's not embarrassing to admit. It is very understandable to want somebody to be proud of you, to feel congratulated and celebrated in a big accomplishment like that. That's not easy. As someone who has said, "Oh, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not drinking anymore," thinking I'm serious, and then I end up going to get drunk, and I'm like, damn, why did I get drunk? I completely understand why. It's a lot. So my brother-in-law, Steve, looked at my sister, and they both said, "Well," at the same time. And she said, "Since we're all here, niece just got into a specific gymnastics thing. It's been a long road, but she did it." Steve popped some wine they'd brought and started giving everyone glasses and cups. He made eye contact with me and his face fell. I had this gnawing feeling, so I got up from the table. I took a walk. I tried to get through the moment mentally so I could be present for my niece to celebrate her success. But when I got back to the house, my sister asked me why I left without saying anything. I said I needed a minute to myself. She looked at me funny and said, "Okay." I said I'd shared something I was very proud of, and she bulldozered over it. My mom put her hand up and asked me what my news was. I said that I told them I hit 1 year sober. Mom said my generation always wanted praise for doing the bare minimum. That wasn't an accomplishment. It was just what I needed to do, like graduating high school. I tried to make it through to dinner, but found myself just not in the mood anymore. I decided to go home. Here is the direct thing I am being called a butthead for. I'd brought a small berry chantilly cake, my favorite, to share after dinner. It was the thing I decided I earned. The kids had definitely seen it. On my way out, I decided to take it home with me. I guess when they realized the cake wasn't in the garage fridge anymore, my sister called to ask me why I took it. I said I did because it was my cake to celebrate my accomplishment. She said word for word, "Are you fucking serious? Oh my God, Emma, grow up. You are such a fucking baby." My mom later texted me directly to tell me how disappointed she was that I threw a tantrum because my niece got more attention than me. I don't think her read of what happened is right, but that is why I'm asking you guys. Am I the asshole? Because I took home the cake in the end. Was that really childish of me, considering the kids saw it and didn't get any? As I was putting on my shoes to leave, Steve found me and directly apologized and said that he was completely oblivious in the moment. I know he did not do anything to intentionally hurt me. Edit follow-up. Hi everyone, I wanted to just follow up and say thank you to everyone for responses. I have a lot to think about when I next go to therapy and work on. I do want to, I'm not in AA, I've tried AA. It wasn't a party for my niece, it was just a family dinner. The cake was mine and wasn't brought for my niece. I didn't take it because I wanted to get back at them. I took it because it's my favorite cake and I wanted to eat it because it was my thing and that I earned. You're not the asshole. As a cake lover, you're not an asshole because you brought it for your accomplishment, like you said. And that's just that. And them thinking it's childish is just their view of it. And that's unfortunate that y'all cannot see eye to eye on that. But I have been in therapy for over a year now. And I'm just learning that people's perception of me is really not my problem. It's unfortunate. It may make me feel sad or offended or disappointed in myself. But all I can do is work on myself and do whatever I can to make sure I feel good about myself. And being 1 year sober from alcohol is not easy. So it is something you like, yeah, no, you're not the asshole. I don't care. Your family is weird for that. They rude. Am I the asshole for grossly humiliating my boyfriend in front of his whole family after he engagement pranked me? Whoa. Okay. My female 40 and her now ex-boyfriend, Keith, 38, and I had problems because of his constant pranks. He has a thing for making his targets look ridiculous. I warned him many times that I'm not a forgiving person and that he was undermining my trust. He laughed it off and I kept giving him chances because he has redeeming qualities. He's funny without pranks, acting like a good listener, and generally showed me deference. However, these traits began to fade away, and I don't know why. It kind of shifted. I don't know if showing him love made him think that he could do this. We never had fights, although we had disagreements, and I tended to clam up if I was really hurt. This happened twice. The first time was very out of the blue. We attended a gala hosted by our city council. I'm using the quotes gala because this isn't a huge city and galas are looked forward to but are not the high class, upper class, and accessible type. He liked the way that they treated us. I was the actual guest and he was my plus one. And he asked me if I could help him get an interview as he wanted to launch a small business and maybe they would be interested. I made no promises but got him a meeting that I attended along with him. On our way back, we stopped at a deli and ran into my ex, with whom I'm cordial. Keith was enraged because I answered my ex's greeting and said I was too friendly and that it was disrespectful. That lasted for about 10 minutes. We sit at my place to eat our takeout and he immediately said very inappropriate things about my best friend. I immediately called him out for trying to make me jealous. He laughed at first, but I asked what was funny, so he left and took his food. We talked about it later, but a few days later, I realized that he never properly apologized. Second, he criticized my outfit and said that I looked ridiculous in it. I should have dumped him right there, but chose to put it in the back of my mind because I already had a lot on my plate, career and family-wise. I also held out hope that we could go back to the way things used to be. I was never able to shake off that feeling of being hurt, although we seemed to have reached a very stable phase after that. He started with his pranking ways again. First, I caught him trying to hide the birthday cake that I got from my friend. Then he hit the gas pedal a few times when I was about to get in his car. Last week, we were at his mother's house for his birthday party. Everything felt pretty normal until everyone got really quiet. It was just weird. I looked at him and he immediately took a knee. This was the worst feeling. First of all, we had not reached a stage leading to an engagement. Second, I thought it was likely a prank, but I didn't know how to react. I don't know if he told everyone that he was about to propose and if they were quiet in honest anticipation, or if they knew, or maybe some of them knew. If he was being honest, I didn't want to say no in front of his family, so I would have probably had to say yes and then say no in private. If it was a prank, then he would humiliate me in front of over 20 people. So what I did was ask what he was doing. And he said I was seeing him and that I knew. I said no, I didn't know. So he insisted. I said, all right. And he asked to see what was in the box and will react accordingly. The fact that he looked off, maybe realizing that he fucked up, maybe wanting to double down, but I'll never know, was a huge red flag. He opened the box and had a beer can tab in it. I told him off right there. I said that he took a knee to give out junk, just like he tried to suck up to people to try and get them to sign up for his tacky, insignificant LLC so that he could push his trash services that he hardly knows how to do. I also mentioned how he lost his jobs twice and said I fully understand why he couldn't afford a real ring. I asked him if he honestly saw me marrying a man-child. His family was offended. Some of them looked uncomfortable, but some of them acted like I went overboard. He tried to apologize, but I informed him to stick it up his ass and that we were done. Needless to say, it was a shit show. I had no exit plan because I didn't know that I would have to walk out and I didn't have my car. So I had to walk with his cousins following me and to convince me that he didn't mean to hurt me and that it was dangerous to walk home alone. I had to walk about 30 minutes until I found an available Uber. I made a Facebook post explaining why I did what I did and that I couldn't see my future self with a scumbag. His brother's girlfriend and I have a good relationship. I find her to be very honest and reasonable. She reached out to check how I was doing and to let me know that neither her nor her boyfriend had anything to do with it and that I was right to be mad. But she also said that while she has never gone along with Keith, this is true, ousting him as a workforce failure in front of his family was too much and that his family were thrown off. I asked what she thought I should do, since I'm not going to do anything to make him feel better, and that's that. And that if he ever tries to contact me, I will make sure things get even more painful, if that's even how he feels. To be honest, I'm embarrassed I stood up for myself, but I guess I went overboard and maybe I should just have turned around and walked away. Was I extra for this? A tad bit. Like a tad bit extra for it, but understandably so, because it's like, that's not funny, bro. That's embarrassing. Because what if she really did get genuinely excited thinking you were really about to propose? That's not funny. That's not funny. Like, I would break up with the person. I don't know if I would cause a scene like that, but I would definitely break it off with that person right then and there. I don't know. Somebody would probably say you are the asshole, but he tried to embarrass you and you embarrassed him. It's kind of just karma. But yeah, geez, that's tough. I'm sorry. You got rid of him though, so that's good. Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law to get over herself and stop trying to one-up us? My 29 male wife, 27 female, and her sister, 30 female, got pregnant around the same time. The babies are the first of a new generation on their side of the family, so everyone was excited. Sister-in-law was further along, but my wife ended up giving birth on week 32, plus she had some complications that had her hospitalized. My nephew was born 2 weeks later at full term. Apparently, sister-in-law was resenting having her thunder stolen and felt like she and her new baby weren't getting enough attention. She keeps making these comments like she's trying to one-up us. First, she was saying how sorry she was that my wife missed the golden hour because they had to take our son to the NICU. This upset my wife since during her hospitalization, she was often too sick to visit the NICU, and she's already feeling crappy about missing skin to skin on those first few weeks. After we started to bring our son to family gatherings, sister-in-law started comparing the boys, saying how much bigger and more alert her son looks like compared to ours and how he hit more milestones. Last weekend, we had lunch at my in-laws. My wife and I were excited to tell everyone that our son laughed for the first time earlier that day. He's 5.5 months old. 3.5, corrected? What? Oh, he's 3.5 years old. Months old. Mother-in-law and father-in-law were having a good time watching the video when sister-in-law made another comment about her son did that a month ago. I didn't know why, but that was the last straw. I had just about had it. I told sister-in-law that she's pathetic for trying to one-up a freaking baby, that her full-term son wasn't special for being more developed than a preemie, that she should get the fuck over not giving birth to the first grandbaby. Needless to say, this ruined lunch and my wife's family is pissed. I admit I was harsh with my words and tone, but this was the first time I confronted her family like this. Up until now, we'd each handle our own relatives, but these comments upset my wife and pissed me off. So I'm not the asshole for being so harsh and not staying in my lane. In terms of it not being your family, yes, I guess so. But you're not an asshole for defending your wife and your baby because they've already been through enough. Being born prematurely and giving birth prematurely it's not necessarily sad, but it can feel it can be sad, and it can be a struggle. And being a preemie means you're gonna have delays naturally, so even if it's just a little bit, you know. So for you, and like you said, for you to keep comparing your full-term baby to my preemie baby, like, stop it. Like, bro, stop. We're not even on the same playing field right now because we're dealing with two different situations. Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? So no, you're not the asshole for that. Am I the asshole for not bringing anything to my friend's potluck after she told me not to? I mean, I'm gonna read it, but in my opinion, no, because it's coming. No, but you're not the asshole because you told me not to bring anything, so I'm gonna respect your word and take your word for it. But also, just generally how I was brought up, it's common courtesy to bring something to a potluck, even if it's like just napkins or something, you know? Like, you don't have to even necessarily bring food, but come with some. Come with some. I don't know. One of my close friends hosted a dinner at her place last week, and she called it a potluck and sent the group text saying we should each bring a little something, drink, snack, whatever. It wasn't anything fancy, just casual. I asked her what I should bring and mentioned I'd be coming straight from work and might be a little rushed. She replied that I didn't need to worry about it. She had plenty of food and just wanted me to come. Y'all both kind of sending me a mixed signal right now. Because you said it's a potluck. A potluck is when everybody brings something. And you said we should each bring something. So then why are you saying you don't? Okay. So I didn't bring anything. I showed up, said hi to everyone, and honestly, the night was going fine. People brought stuff, a salad, some cupcakes, a couple bottles of wine. I was planning to just help clean up or do dishes since I didn't bring anything, and I figured she meant what she said. But later on, while people were complimenting the food, she made this offhand comment like, well, not everyone contributed, but we're still glad she showed up. Oh! And it didn't seem super serious, but I felt my face get hot. I didn't know how to respond. I stayed polite and tried not to act weird about it, but I felt uncomfortable the rest of the night. On the way home, I kept thinking about it. I get that maybe she was a little annoyed, but she literally told me not to bring anything. And now I feel like she put me on blast in front of people for something I didn't even do wrong. I haven't said anything to her yet because it feels small and I don't want to be dramatic, but I also can't shake the feeling that it wasn't fair. Am I the asshole? No. After that comment, no. In a common courtesy sense, yes, because always bring something. Like, always bring something. Housewarming, potluck, Friendsgiving, always bring something, especially if you're a close friend. I feel like it's the principle of it, of like, I'm gonna say, no, you don't have to bring anything, but you still can. You don't have to, but you can. And it's the difference in action and choice, I think, that people take into account on how they feel about people and their friends and stuff like that. But I don't know. Y'all both assholes. How about that? Am I the asshole for yelling at my aunt after she kept pressuring me to marry her son? Let me just read it before I'm 24, female from Pakistan. Okay. Here, cousin marriages are common. Okay, that's why I didn't want to say anything yet. And my aunt keeps pressuring me to marry her son, 25, male, since I was a teen. This started in my teen years, and my aunt would start making jokes such as, you'd make a good daughter-in-law, or you and her son's name would make a good couple, etc. I used to brush it off back then, ignore it and such, hoping it would stop, but they never did. Instead, it started being more common. She started doing it every time we met, and I've shut her down politely every time, saying I'm not interested and it won't ever happen. My mom knew how much it bothered me. She didn't want to disrespect her elders, so she kept quiet and only spoke about it in private when my aunt messaged her. My mom told me to keep quiet and ignore because she won't let it happen. This was very uncomfortable. This whole thing gave my cousin some wrong ideas because he started messaging me in private, saying things like, we're getting married in the future, so why aren't you talking to me now? I just ghost him and ignore his message. Just a few years ago, I lost my temper at a family gathering after my aunt said, you're all grown up now. When are you going to marry him? Our decision is final. The strong feeling of ick and cringe just made me lash out. I yelled at my aunt, calling her stupid for not listening to me and not understanding what no means. I used mild swear words as well, and it was a whole heated argument. To end the argument, my brother had to physically carry me out of the house, where I had a breakdown and we all just left her house. My mom was hurt by this a lot, and I could feel the pain in her voice whenever we spoke about this. She said she just wishes I handled it differently. After this came a series of unwanted toxicity and drama. My aunt yelled at my mom, making her look like a terrible person for letting that happen, and cut off all ties. She influenced mom's oldest sister and brother to do the same. My cousin got married to someone else, and we found out about it through someone else. He got married and divorced just later that year, and somehow my aunt managed to partially blame me and my mom for that divorce, even though we played no part in it. My mom deals with her siblings often, and sometimes they drag her into dramas. I've seen her cry in her room alone because of this, and it makes me feel bad. I feel like I should have done better or done things differently for the sake of my mom. All this toxicity and drama would have been avoided if I did things different. You're not the asshole. You're not the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling my wife she can't cook? I, 29 male, have been with my wife, 28 female, for 8 years. So y'all met when you was 21 and 22. And meals are just about the only place of contention in our marriage, but I'm scared she's going to kill someone one day. Background, we split the cooking in our house 50-50, but when she cooks, I feel like I have to watch her like a hawk. She undercooks just about everything, especially meat, and no matter how many times I try to politely correct her, she claims I'm being picky. For example, every time she makes rice, I just can't convince her it's 1 part rice, 2 parts water. She always says, are you sure? That seems like a lot of water. Or maybe that's how you like it, but I don't want it so mushy. The package and Google won't convince her either, and I just swallow my pride and eat the crunchy rice every time. It's like that with everything: pasta, veggies, bread, meat. The thing is, I wouldn't care so much if it was just me, but she always wants to cook for our friends. She really prides herself on her cooking and wants to make everything herself. I just trail behind her trying to make sure it's all edible, but there's usually a few dishes that end up drastically oversalted or undercooked. Our friends will politely eat, but I noticed they've been coming to fewer and fewer invitations for dinner. Things all came to a head the other night when she went to put some chicken in the oven as I was hopping in the shower. When I came out, she had pulled the chicken out and said dinner was ready. I was skeptical and told her I had only been in there for 10 minutes. She said she parent stared at first, so it was fine. But when I came to look, the sides were literally pink. I snapped a little and told her she's gonna kill someone one day for serving them raw meat. Can't you see that it's pink? That's food safety #1. She said she thought it was done and it's not her fault. Her mother never showed her how to cook chicken growing up. I then told her, well, you're almost 30. That's no excuse for not knowing how to cook at all. Needless to say, she's pretty upset with me and I probably could have been nicer. But I've been nice about it for 8 years and nothing has changed in my asshole. No, you are not. No, you are not. Because I ain't coming to nobody's house if their wife is serving me pink chicken. Or if I do come to somebody's house and their wife is serving me pink chicken, I'm leaving. And I'm going to sanitize myself very deeply. Because did y'all touching door handles and stuff after touching those raw chicken? Oh, open the door for me, actually, to let me leave. I'm not even going to touch it myself. And, oh my God, you're not the asshole. But you're the asshole for letting it get this far. Okay? Because year 1, not even year 1, meal 1, I'm nipping that shit in the bud. And if that's something that she's just adamant on and she does not want to learn how to cook or doesn't want to, cook together or anything or is not willing to change it, we don't have to just break up. I'm not gonna lie. Food is a non-negotiable, okay? Food is a non-negotiable. We're not messing that up. Or, and see, that's the thing. No, because you said she likes to cook. She wants to cook. So you want to do the 50-50. Because I could just be cooking all the time and we could get some takeout every now and then. You don't have to cook. But since you want to so bad, I can't stomach this. So, yeah, no. We would just have to break up. I'm not gonna lie. That's it for today. Anyways, thank you guys again for 100 subscribers. Leave a comment below if you enjoyed this video or if you want to leave an input on any of these readings. Also, leave me a question in my NGL link in my bio for my next video, my get to know me video. Yeah, I love you. I hope you love you. And I hope you love me. But baby, if you don't, it is quite all right because I love me enough for the both of us. Peace.